Hey loves, I'm Keely and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm so excited that you're here today because I'm going to show you the only biscuit recipe that you will ever need in your entire life. And yes, that is a promise. No, I'm not talking the kind of biscuits that are on the Great British Baking Show, even though I'm pretty sure those are just cookies. Jury's still out on that one. But you are gonna love this recipe because they are flaky and buttery and you can have them with breakfast or with a barbecue at night. I know you're just gonna love them. So before we get started, I would absolutely love if you could please subscribe to my channel right now. All right, let's go make some biscuits. Let's talk about our ingredients. I have 4 cups of all-purpose flour in a bowl, which I whisked with 2 teaspoons of sugar and then 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. I also mixed that together with 8 teaspoons of baking powder. Yes, 8. In another bowl, I grated 2 sticks of butter, unsalted, and once that was grated, I put that bowl in the freezer. Now, you really want that butter to stay as cold as possible if you're making scones or a pie crust or biscuits, because that makes for beautiful, flaky, buttery layers, and that's exactly what we want. And then in another bowl, I just made buttermilk. So if you don't have buttermilk laying around, because most of us don't, all you have to do is combine 2 tablespoons of vinegar with 1.5 cups of milk, and you just let that sit. It's going to become thick and it's going to smell a little tangy, and that's exactly what we want. I wanted to use buttermilk with this recipe instead of just regular milk because that vinegar that's in buttermilk reacts beautifully with a leavening agent, which is baking powder. And we want them to be high and flaky, and we're going to do anything we can to make them just happy and beautiful. So let's combine everything and I'll show you what it's going to look like. Now that the biscuits are shaped, I'm gonna have Josh put them in the freezer downstairs only for about 10 minutes or so. And I'm doing this because I want the butter to just reharden so that we could have those beautiful separate layers.
Now, as Keely said, the biscuits need about 10 minutes in the freezer. So my job was to bring them to the freezer, which happens to be located in my man cave. There's the freezer, and classic Mike, try to get some free publicity because The Last Dance starts tonight. I figure while we have some time, I'd share a little story about Colleen and biscuits. The first time that she can really ever remember having them was the tornado that hit Washington back in 2013. We were displaced for the evening because of power outages and, no heat or anything like that. But the next morning, we got breakfast at the Holiday Inn Express in Pekin. And she was almost in shock that they had biscuits and gravy, and she got this look on her face. She goes, "Are those biscuits and gravy?" And I'm looking at her like, "Yeah, have you never seen those before? Never had those before?" She fell in love with biscuits and gravy, and it's almost become somewhat of a staple in our house now.
I'm so excited with how delicious these biscuits look. Do you see how brown and buttery they turned out? And yes, I did make them really massive. So they took about 40 minutes or so to bake, but trust me, it is completely worth it. Now, I would love to hear from you. Be sure to comment below and let me know how you guys like your biscuits. Do you make them sweet? Do you have them in a sandwich? Do you add cheese to them and have them in a barbecue? I would love to hear from you guys and meet you below. If you want the full recipe, be sure to go to my website that is also linked below. Well, it is time for me to finally just devour these. And until next time, continue to cook and bake from scratch with a whole lot of love. Bye.